Welcome into Red Raider Recon, presented by Cantex Roofing. I'm Rob Bro, and live on location from Houston, Texas, talking about the game, we have Clint Scott.
Thank you, Rob. Welcome into Red Raider Recon. I'm Clint Scott. He's Rob Bro. This is brought to you by Cantex Roofing. I'm live on location from Houston, Texas.
The intro's already done.
What?
After a weekend off, the Red Raiders dive right back into Big 12 play. This week it's a road contest against the 4-0 Houston Cougars. In year 2 under Willie Fritz, the Cougars have already matched their win total from last year and the season before. Houston's coming off a non-conference scare in Corvallis, coming back to beat Oregon State in overtime 27-24. It's a return trip for both defensive coordinator Shiel Wood and defensive lineman A.J. Holmes, who were both at Houston last season. They'll aim to stop a Cougar offense led by quarterback Connor Wickman. He was in College Station for 3 seasons before transferring to Houston in the offseason. He's also on pace for his best season as a college quarterback. Wickman's thrown 6 touchdowns to just 1 interception and has added 4 more scores on the ground. Running back Dean Connors and wide receiver Stephon Johnson are 2 key pieces in the offense. Wickman's go-to target, however, has been transfer tight end Tanner Koziol. He leads the team in receptions with 23. He also has 234 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns in 2025. Houston's new defensive coordinator is Austin Armstrong. So far, he's kept together the same improvement Houston's defense saw last season under Coach Wood. The Cougars have the second best scoring defense in the conference, allowing just 9.7 points per game, while also boasting the league's best passing defense, with opposing teams averaging 120 passing yards per game. For the Red Raiders, they'll enter the week ranked 11th in the AP Top 25 and 14th in the coaches poll. They have the conference's best scoring and passing offense, with a high-powered attack that averages 52 points per game. Conference play this week features the undefeated Iowa State Cyclones facing Cincinnati on the road. The 3-1 Bearcats are coming off a 37-34 win in Lawrence. Kansas State picked up a much-needed win over UCF. This weekend they'll be in Waco facing a 3-2 Baylor Bears squad. BYU won a tight game in Boulder, staying undefeated. They'll host a struggling West Virginia squad on Friday night. In total, there are only 4 undefeated Big 12 teams left standing. After this weekend's matchup with Texas Tech and Houston, at least one will drop.
I have a confession.
Okay.
I think Texas Tech is going to win by 40. But I am trying to convince myself that this is a matchup of 2 undefeated Titans with really good defenses that are going to be holding each other into the third, like Utah, Texas Tech, and then Texas Tech might break away by 2 scores at the end. But those are the 2 options in my mind. Either Tech blows them out from the get, or Tech pulls away in the 4th.
So obviously we're going to give our scores a little bit later. I have a big score as well, and I think 2 things can be true, because I think Houston still has a very good defense, and if you're looking over there with a new defensive coordinator, a lot of new faces, not very many holdovers from last year's unit that was really good. I think you can say that is a solid Houston defense and just say, boy, but your offense was so much more talented and so much better. And this is where I think you can circle back to Utah. I still think Utah's offense is good. And I think they're going...
Miraculous healing.
The shaman worked on the ankle. and look, I think Utah's offense is good, but what did you do against their good offense?
Finally broke through at the end.
Shut them. Well, you shut their offense down. And so if you're flipping the sides of the ball there, I'm with you. And so it's not that I don't think, if I pick a good score that Houston isn't a solid team or anything like that. I think it's clear. Like, they've clearly taken a step forward in year 2. And look, this is just what Willie Fritz does. That's what he's done his entire career, since he was a head coach on the JUCO level at Blinn back in 1993. There's a reason in all of these seasons that he has coached, he's had 6 losing seasons. He's had more double-digit winning seasons than he has losing seasons, and I think you're seeing that in year 2 for Houston. But at the same time, I think you are far more talented. I think this team is really focused. I think that they understand the ultimate goal. Everybody is bought in for that ultimate goal, and they're not making, it's like the coach speak. They're not making any one game bigger than it has to be. And to me, what that means is they're going to focus in on Houston, and say, yes, you have our full attention, and we're more talented, and that's not going to be as hostile of an environment as Rice-Eccles was. There could be more Red Raider fans there than the Houston Blue. Who knows? And I feel really good about this week.
I will get into this more later. There's 3 really bad matchups for Houston going into this game.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll do the Houston stuff right after the midway point of the episode probably, but put a pin in this. Their offensive pass protection is worlds worse than your pass rush.
Mm-hmm.
Worlds worse. They run a lot of zone. Defensively, Baron Morton carves zone defenses. The fans. I think sometimes Texas Tech fans are so adamant that they're going to sell out an arena or stadium, and they kind of poke the bear or hit the hornet's nest and wake up the opposing fan base. Think TCU basketball.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that was a 50-50 crowd when you went down to Fort Worth several years ago. But that's TCU's biggest game now at home because they are frustrated with that. And certainly in basketball, they have made it a point to not let that happen again. And even so, the TCU fans, the loudest they've ever been was that basketball game.
Mm-hmm.
And it was 50-50. On TV, it looked mostly red. So I do think Houston's fan base and students will show up and show out. But I've heard 50-60% Texas Tech. I think I could guarantee it'll be 30%.
Mm-hmm.
So
either way,
I think those are 3 really bad matchups. 2 on the field, 1 off the field. But we'll get into those as we move through the episode. Do you have some thoughts?
Oh, man, I've got 3 thoughts.
Let's do them.
First thought. Arizona State is fully back in the contender conversation.
Agreed.
Man, they have – you go back to Texas State, felt like they hit a stride. You go to Baylor, and I'm looking at it like, man, that's how they won a lot of games last year, especially down the stretch whenever they were finding their way into a Big 12 championship game. And then you look at how they beat TCU, and it's been the defense has made plays when they've needed them to. They're stingy. You're just not putting up a ton of points against Arizona State. They don't let you pull away. It's really tough to blow them out, and there's a reason why no one really has, even when they've beaten them. And then who made plays down the stretch offensively? Sam Leavitt and Jordan Tyson. This, you could flip the conversation and go, this just showed me that I don't think TCU is a true contender. That's secondary. What are you, like, if you're looking at how to get beat, how about the best player top of the scouting report? Let's just leave him open. I know Tyson will just get his anyways, but still, when you're not helping yourself out. But I think for Arizona State, huge strip sack at the end of the game on top of it to give yourself a field goal opportunity. Hoover kind of crumbled under that spotlight on the road, but I also think it's more to do with Arizona State showing that they're winning games the exact same way they did last year when they did it all the way to a Big 12 championship. And then won it. Second thought. Cincinnati is still the most underrated Big 12 team.
That's been your baby.
They are Brendan Sorsby, if anyone's been watching him, and I get it. The first time we see them, it's on a Friday night, a little bit of a standalone game. It's against a Big Ten opponent. It's at Arrowhead. It's kind of a special view into Cincinnati, and everyone's looking to see, hey, to Scott Satterfield, did they learn anything from last year's meltdown in the back half? And maybe in some regards, what kind of step has Sorsby taken? And what do we remember about that game? We remember that it was a loss. It was a close loss. The offense wasn't very good, and ultimately Sorsby made a really bad decision. I mean, you can either go bad decision or bad throw. Either way, it was an interception that ends that game when they had a chance. Well, since then, they have just been awesome. And they go into Lawrence, and not only do they win a road game, but they make huge plays down the stretch, including a game-winning drive. You look at a 4th and 10, you've got guys making one-handed catches out there to keep drives alive, but Brendan Sorsby makes that engine go. And I don't know, I don't think we're talking enough about Cincinnati as far as what they can do in the conference. The offensive line is good over there. The defense, I think, is good enough. You also had injuries in that game. Corleone was out. I mean, that's their best defensive player. So I don't think we're talking enough about Cincinnati right now.
Counterpoint, we're talking plenty about Cincinnati. At least you are.
I am.
You're fulfilling your bargain.
I am. Third thought. Utah's just fine.
Yeah.
They're just as good as I know we've kind of already gone over this.
My first thought is about
they were incredibly focused. They made West Virginia on the road look like the second worst Big 12 team, which is where I have them right now.
Yeah.
I think that win was more about the Red Raiders than it was about Utah. Yeah.
Ready?
Oh, I'm so ready.
Piggybacking on your third thought with my first thought.
Piggybacking first thought.
Utah's offense didn't get any healthier. They just played a really bad defense. The amount of Utah fans that were like, see what happens when Dampier's healthy, it totally discounts how good the defense is at Texas Tech. And my hope is that through the rest of the season, you get to prove that over and over. I think you have an opportunity to prove it with Connor Wegman in that offense this week and Dean Connors and the boys. But Utah, Dampier didn't magically regain all of his mobility. That defense is just injured and bad at West Virginia. Second thought. Kansas is 2016 Texas Tech, but the playmakers aren't quite as dynamic. I think Kansas will average 35 points a game. Texas Tech averaged 43, but they gave up 43, and Kansas might give up 35. It's going to be the same split. Their offense is as good as their defense is bad, like 2016 Texas Tech.
Yeah, okay. Different ratios.
Yes, different ratios.
Because
defense a little better, offense
a little,
just not quite as, I wouldn't say worse, but just not quite as dynamic.
Yeah, I'd agree. Okay, yeah, I'd agree with that.
So,
and the biggest thing for their defense, and this is a problem. This is how you look at so many points. Well, like looking at that 2016 defense, a lot of times you're going just like, where's the defense?
Yeah.
For Kansas, a lot of times they're in the right spot.
Just can't tackle.
They can't tackle, and like they get there to make plays, and then they don't make them, and that's how you get beat on game-winning drives.
Which might be more frustrating.
Yes. That's a good comp.
Third thought. It was fun to see Oklahoma State's offense throw everything at Baylor. They can't do that every week. It's all on tape now. I don't think they have enough bullets to go and score 27 on everyone else. I think their offense will improve moderately when Haas Haney returns, if he returns, because he has a red shirt to potentially play with. You're going to see more guys get in the portal. There's a guy that started as a true freshman, as starting safety, that's already in the portal. You're going to see more and more guys that have those opportunities to be somewhere else next year, or at least a red shirt this year and come back to Oklahoma State with a different coach. They're going to sit out for a large part of this season. So I think we'll see more of those as the season goes on. And if you don't have an opportunity for red shirt, if the coaching search takes a long time and you're losing a lot, you might just get in the portal anyways. You saw that at UCF last year.
I also think that you can also look at Baylor's defense. Like if they were playing a Utah, or if they're playing if they're playing you this week, or Arizona State, or some of the better defenses in the conference, or maybe even just like some of the higher end, not even like top 3 kind of defenses, would they have been able to score as much? I don't know, but it felt like Doug Meacham was like buying into surely Dave Aranda couldn't lose in this situation again, right? Like everyone was thrown out. And it also felt like Doug Meacham was, I'm going to unload everything just to, they got rid of the defensive coordinator for a reason. They didn't get rid of me. I'm the interim. And
yeah, well, he went and fired the defensive coordinator after that game.
Yeah, so.
And I do think that
I agree with what it felt like they were like, this. We're going to do everything. The week of Gundy gone, the first game without him, in all of these years, we are going to unload the bag.
It looked like Oklahoma State's team was playing the last game of football they were ever going to play.
Yeah. They were going to make a Disney Channel special, not even a full-length film about this game.
Yeah, and it didn't quite end that way. All right, you want to move on?
Poke the Bears is what that name would have been.
Yeah. Yeah. Nailed it.
Oh, man. We've been doing some overreactions. We're going to take a break from those. Don't worry, we will go back to our week-to-week overreactions, because now that you're a third of the way through the season, we can kind of reevaluate our thoughts on the Big 12 as a whole. Would you like to do some bold predictions?
I would love to do some bold predictions. My bold predictions start like this. Texas Tech will not host a playoff game.
Because they're going to be in the top 4.
Because they're going to be on the line. I really do think, you're seeing it from K Ford, you're seeing it from the SP Plus, you're seeing it from this analytical service, that analytical service. If you go on to collegefootballgraphs.com, which is the Stats of War guy that does his previews every week, if you plug in Texas Tech in any top 10 team, you're within a point or two, plus or minus. This is a team that I think can beat any of the best teams in the country on any given night, and by that account lose to any of the best teams in the country on any given night. But those games need to be played to figure it out. I think you're that good this year, which means you should run the table in the Big 12.
Mm-hmm.
If you do that and win a Big 12 championship and go 13-0, there's no chance you won't be top 4.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's a small chance. But I think we need to give the committee a little bit of credit that if TCU can go 12-1 and lose a Big 12 championship and be in the top 4, that Texas Tech would also get extended that courtesy.
Yeah, and I think you could look at the decision. Ask Alabama that they're not cowering down, to blue bloods. And you know what I've seen a lot this week, because we're getting a lot more serious with like the bold projections and stuff that are coming out, and they're coming out more regularly. Hey, would we rather host a game and like host Texas A&M, or would you rather get the bye? Give me the bye.
Give me the bye.
Give me the bye.
Give me the bye.
Yes, give me a top 4 ranking. Are you kidding me?
And you also can list that you won a playoff game, right? You've made it to the second round of the playoffs.
Yeah.
It's a bye, but you've earned that.
Mm-hmm.
You've earned the right to say we've made the quarterfinals.
Mm-hmm.
Hang the banner.
Yeah. Yeah, sure.
Hopefully the banner also says semifinals and national championship, but hang the banner. All right.
Well, because I think if you're doing it that way, it means you can. Obviously you can win the Big 12 and host whatever, and I wouldn't be complaining about that at all. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. But to me, that means that if you're in the top 4, you were dominant in Big 12 play. Nobody laid a scratch on you, and you were clearly the best team.
Yeah.
And we haven't seen that in the Big 12 since Oklahoma had some of those years. Like the Baker Mayfield almost should have beat Georgia year. And that is something that is missing. If you're looking at Big 12 credibility, by the way, that is something that is missing from the conference. And I do think that there's something to, yes, you're a more fun, more competitive conference than the Big 10, but what do they have that you don't?
national championships.
Yeah, well, and they have more respect at the high end, and you don't. And I think that's obvious. So yes, give me the bye of 100%, 10 out of 10 times.
All right. The other two. Well, this one's mostly Texas Tech. Jordan Tyson will win the Blitnikoff.
Okay.
Terrence Carter Jr. will win the Mackey. And Jacob Rodriguez will win one of the major defensive awards. Bednarik or whatever those are.
Yeah.
Butkus. Pick one. There's a bunch of them.
I like it.
Finally,
I don't think that's insane, by the way. I know it's bold.
We'll go 3 for 3.
Yeah, go 3 for 3, yes. But I don't think any of those individually are ridiculous.
Iowa State will beat Cincinnati and Colorado on the road. Not as bold. And then lose 3 of 4.
Oh man, what is their schedule? What does their schedule look like? Hold on.
I got it. I'm prepared.
I'm a visual learner. I have to look at it.
Iowa State plays Kansas State, South Dakota, Iowa, Arkansas State, Arizona, Cincinnati, Colorado. That'd put them at 7-0 after 2 road wins. Then they play BYU, Arizona State, TCU on the road, and Kansas.
3 of 4.
They'll lose 3 of those 4.
And Campbell can't beat Kansas, so that's one loss for sure.
Their 2 starting corners are down with ACL injuries.
Yeah, especially the Jontes Williams news, especially.
Their starting safety is like a walk-on freshman.
I like that you put this in the bold category.
Yeah.
Because it is bold. They've just been, as a whole, they've been playing really well. I thought that Arizona win was really impressive. But at the same time, I'm expecting that game against BYU to be competitive. I think that might be the ugliest game in the Big 12 we see all year.
Yeah.
Arizona State, again, they're going to be right back in the contender conversation. Why would they not have a chance in that game, even though it's in Ames? And then TCU will be an interesting watch by that point in the season. Now that they dropped that game against Arizona State, where are they? Have they dropped another one? Are they looking at that game going, boy, we still just have the one loss? Have they completely disintegrated at that point? That'll be an interesting watch. And then that Kansas, that is bold. But if, they're going into that final week at Oklahoma State and that actually happened, I don't know, wouldn't be just completely floored, I guess?
By the way, another Oklahoma State Cowboy, their best defensive lineman, Demarion Thomas, breaking news, redshirting the rest of the season. Starting safety, starting defensive tackle.
Brutal. What's G.J. Kinney going to do next year with him? All right.
Oh, that was another bowl. You want another one more?
I would love one more. Bonus bold.
G.J. Kinney goes to Oklahoma State. Rhett Lashley goes to Arkansas.
No, he's definitely not. He said he wasn't going to Arkansas, and he's happy building stuff there.
Rhett Lashley's going to Arkansas.
Yeah.
Eric Morris goes to SMU. Zach Kidley goes to North Texas.
Write it in an envelope.
The Sam Houston State defensive coordinator goes to Texas State.
You're doing the full chain reaction. All right, who takes Sam Houston defensive coordinator?
No idea.
Magic ran out.
I can't remember the guy's name.
You know what's funny is
he's young.
I know. As soon as Lashley was like, "We're happy here. We're building here. We're not going to Arkansas," I was like, "All right, so SMU will be in the hiring cycle."
That was not a great.
No.
He's like, SMU, ACC, great.
Have you seen the Oklahoma State kind of tinfoil hat theory with G.J. Kinney?
No.
That he's giving signs. So I thought G.J. There's one way to do it, especially if Lashley takes Arkansas. That's the not great way, right?
Yeah.
It's what a lot of coaches do. No, they brush it off. And then you have the G.J. Kinney version where he's like, look, I'm openly talking about my players. Yeah. And because of it, the AD loves him even more. Like, they understand it. there is another level past Texas State, and you can also appreciate that he's taking them to places they've never been. And the whole time while he's talking about this, he's got his hand, and he's like pushing that on the side, and like talking like that. And the Oklahoma State fans are like, he's sending signals.
I'd have to go back to other press conferences.
It's so funny.
It could just be his,
I know.
I'd have to go back and look.
It's so funny, man.
If you went to any random press conference for DJ Kinney and he wasn't doing that, though, that is pretty funny.
Yeah. They're like, he's sending us signals. He's telling us where he's going. All right, you ready for some more bold predictions?
I've never been more ready.
By the way, bonus bold sounds like a new line of Dorito flavors. You
bonus
had bold, but now it's even more bold. It's bonus bold. Extra nacho cheese.
It's like bigger than the family pack.
The coolest ranch.
It's like 24 inches tall, the bag. Bonus bold. It's like the top half is...
Oh my gosh.
It's like 2 different flavors. Bonus bold, it's Cool Ranch and nacho cheese.
This is the turducken of Doritos. Bonus bold. Now taking sponsors, Red Raider Recon.
The top third of the bag is orange and the bottom 2/3 is blue. Bonus bold.
It's like the Christmas bucket of popcorn. It's all Doritos. Oh man. First bold prediction. Oh. I'm writing the Frito-Lay, right?
I think Dorito is Frito-Lay.
Right?
How could that be profitable for Frito-Lay?
Good reference. 3 for 1. My first bold prediction is...
Literally 3 for 1?
Yeah. You, last season, you specifically last season for the Big 12, in total, you had 5 Big 12 players. You had 5 Big 12 players that got first or second All-American honors through the Associated Press. Now, this is cheating a little bit because one of those was Travis Hunter, and he was a first-team all-offense guy, a second-team all-offense guy, a first-team defense guy, and then a first-team special unit player. So he represented 3 there. But in total, you had 5 Big 12 players. I'm going to tell you this year, Rob, that between the first and second team, the Big 12, that number will reach at least 8. And Texas Tech will have the most.
Okay. I was trying to remember sign language.
That could have fooled me.
Somebody could tell me in the comments, but I don't think any of that was right.
Sign it.
What is P?
In the comment. I don't know.
LMNO.
That's legitimately like when people ask,
P?
what language would you like to learn?
Yeah.
I would actually like to learn sign language.
N.
Sure.
O. But what is P? Because I had A, All-American A. Help. Go ahead.
Is that bold enough?
Yes. Yeah,
I think for some of the players that you mentioned on those awards are ones that I have in mind.
Yeah, and it's not bold to say that Texas Tech will have the most all Big 12 players.
That part doesn't feel bold.
But for you to basically double as a league.
Because some of these guys are returning. Yeah. Here's the thing, Jordan Tyson was one of those. Spencer Fano was one of those guys. And then you just added into a deeper league. I'm really curious to see who winds up there from the quarterback spot, because the Big 12, for its lack of respect, as a whole, the quarterbacks are getting a ton of respect.
Yeah.
And so I don't think it's crazy, especially when you're going first and second team, to think that a quarterback winds up on one of those lists.
Yeah.
I mean,
it could be Brendan Sorsby.
And I think something that helps, too, he's the highest graded Big 12 quarterback right now.
On ESPN.
Something that I think helps you, too, is some of the notable quarterbacks in the brightest spotlight are having pretty dreadful years.
Oh, Josh Hoover, man.
I'm thinking your Arch Manning stories that just aren't living up to the hype.
Nick.
Yes, both of those guys.
Lagway.
I think Drew Aller is a guy like that.
Oh, well, he should.
He shouldn't have, but he was.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's wild to think a quarterback could mosey on over to that list. Texas Tech will have one or less statistical leader in the conference on offense and defense, but will have one in the top 3 in at least 4 categories.
I like it. Hopefully one of those is sacks. Leading.
Sacks. Excuse me. I was trying to do the thing.
You know, John Henry Daly leads the Big 12 in sacks.
Mm-hmm.
Romello Height, David Bailey, 2-3.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
That would be perfect. And you look right now, your only leader in anything is Bryce Pollock in interceptions. And that's where I'm leaving that one. It's kind of the one I had in mind.
Yeah.
When I said 1 or less to give myself a little leeway.
Yeah.
But, and I think if you have a bunch of 2s and 3s, it just shows how balanced you were. And I just, the quarterback one I think is going to be hard for Baron Morton just because he's played so many half games already. And then the receivers, you spread it around so much, and then you have a Jordan Tyson where he is the target. It's going to be hard to catch him. My last one for you. Here's a thinker. You have your thinking cap on? Guy with a hat? Ready? Every multi-school Big 12 state will have all of its members make a bowl game. The single school states will only be represented by Cincinnati and Iowa State. Was that you crunching the numbers?
Yes. So Texas
All
will
of
have
them.
Texas, TCU, Baylor, and Houston all make a bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Arizona, Utah, Kansas, all making a bowl.
All of them making a bowl.
Colorado, no bowl.
Colorado, no bowl.
UCF, no bowl.
UCF, no bowl.
West Virginia, no bowl.
No bowl.
Oklahoma State, no bowl.
No bowl.
Cincinnati, Iowa State, bowl.
Yes.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 bowl teams.
Mm-hmm.
I can dig it.
And here's where I think...
Because you still have
Because you have to reach all of those numbers.
We have the Pac-12 bowls, the playoffs, and the Big 12 bowls.
Mm-hmm.
Plenty of space.
Yeah, there's plenty of space. That's a big number. And then you also like who's the biggest challenge to fill those out. Well, right now, Kansas State, the state of Kansas, right now I think is the hardest state to get. I think you're gonna get Utah easily. I think you're gonna get Texas easily. Here's the other one, Arizona. Do they continue to hold up their end of the bargain? So Arizona State's gonna be a 6-win team at least. I mean, they're gonna be right in the thick of it. And then that's basically me saying I only believe in these 2 teams the rest of the way. And these are the 4 that I think are your clear bottom 4 teams.
I like it.
All right, you ready to do some players of the year?
Of the week. Yes.
Let's start with defense.
Okay.
I'll go first. I will go to Arizona State in that win over TCU. Prince Dorba, 4 TFLs, 3 of those being sacks, including that strip sack late in that game, leading to what would be a game-winning field goal. A monster game from him. To be fair, I think there's a couple of candidates on this Arizona State team because they played that well, and especially big turnovers, big moments, stuff like that. But he was my pick when you isolate one moment, and then also you just bring down that, just bring up that he was living in that backfield.
Yeah, he rushes right through the tackle. You know what they say about Prince when he does that? He's adorable.
Aw. It's terrible.
My defensive player of the year.
He's going to be really proud to get that award and then be called adorable.
Of the week. Iowa State's Jamison Patton, who had 7 tackles, 7 solo tackles.
Yeah.
And an interception in Iowa State's big win over Arizona. I think Matt Campbell's whole thing is next man up. And Jamison Patton has been a guy playing, and he's a big piece of that defense. But they're going to have him and the rest of the secondary step up with some new faces over the next few weeks. And certainly against Cincinnati, certainly on the road at Colorado. Because if we know anything about Colorado is that they can hit some deep shots if they're on. And certainly in that next stretch. Those next 4 games are going to be tough for Iowa State.
I love that response from Iowa State, right? I mean, we brought this up too. Hey, they're coming off of a bye. Last time we saw them, they were at Arkansas State. They weren't sharp. Can they cement themselves right back into that favorite? And I don't think they left the favorite conversation, but you had some going like, hey, who's the second best team as far as favorites go behind Texas Tech? And for Arizona, they're picking up a little steam, a little momentum. Now, I think clearly they have some things offensively that they need to figure out. But Iowa State just put the clamps on them in Ames. And so I thought that was a very good showing to kind of silence some murmurs around them, at least for now. Offensively, I would like to go to the Baylor Bears. That Disney special we talked about earlier. Sawyer Robertson, 393 passing yards, 4 passing touchdowns, another one on the ground. OSU was bad. Yes. Sawyer was still lights out. And in the first half, boy, you really needed those points to make yourself feel a little bit better. And I think that this is going to be a recurring theme for Baylor. The other thing that was impressive about his performance, of his 393 passing yards, not a single receiver broke 100 yards. He was spreading it around. So easy pick for me this week.
Jalen Daniels would have been mine had he not fumbled at the goal line and had he led a field goal drive at the end. Mm-hmm. Were they up by 4 or 3?
They were by 3. So
they could have tied it and gone to overtime. Instead, I'm going... was that
Italian, or were you going like...
Instead was weird, Russian? But then I said, I'm going.
Like Russian Mario. It's a me, a Mario.
That wasn't bad.
Thank you. It's a me, Rusev. I do not fix pipes, I break them.
So I was going to Arizona State. And I couldn't decide between Sam Leavitt, Raleek Brown, and Jordan Tyson.
Yeah.
Those are the 3 players they have.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right now.
Raleek Brown, speaking of like underrated guys.
He was not on our radar at all before the season. I don't think he was on Arizona State fans' radar.
No.
Kanye Udo did not have a carry this week.
Mm-mm. It was either going to be him or Kyson Brown.
Right.
Last year's backup, and he's come out of nowhere. And by the way, speaking of Big 12 leaders, leading the conference in rushing.
Yeah. So I think because Sam Leavitt struggled so much in the first half, even though he was instrumental, obviously, in the comeback, I am going to give it to his skill position players. Raleek Brown, 21 carries, 134 yards, and 9 receptions for 50 yards. That's 180 yards with 30 touches for Raleek Brown. And then Jordan Tyson, 8 catches, 126 yards, 15 per, nearly 16 per, 2 touchdowns. The only 2 touchdowns that Sam Leavitt threw.
Give him 2 per.
I'm giving co-offensive player of the week to Jordan Tyson and Raleek Brown.
The ultimate Big 12 move.
They were down 17-0. Scored, got the ball back. This TCU offense went interception, which wasn't Josh Hoover's fault. Well, he threw it late and behind him, or early and behind him, but in the receiver's hands. Oh, no. Oh, it's just the battery. Interception. I thought I said, oh, no, weird. I thought we were full.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, they don't know that. You know that.
I know that. This has been a look.
Interception.
Behind the curtains.
Interception. Touchdown.
Yeah.
That got him to 24. Punt, fumble, interception. They had 10 yards of rushing.
Mm-hmm. And that was the worry coming into this year. I thought for TCU, it was, did the rushing defense get any better? And then did the rushing offense get any better? And the rush defense maybe a little bit better, but their running game, part of it is if you are fully committed to saying we are going to add all of this talent through and really lean on the quarterback's arm specifically to win us games, then it has to be elite. You can do that.
Yeah.
To an extent, if you can have anything to throw as a counterbalance, and they just either don't have that or refuse to do it.
Up 17.
Yeah.
And they ran the ball 15 times with running backs.
Yeah.
Now, Josh River got sacked a bunch and had minus 38 yards. Mm-hmm. So that makes it 10, but bad. Really, really bad. All right.
Houston was
Houston. Mace Brothers?
I don't know which Houston you were doing.
Go ahead.
Houston. That's what I thought you were going to go into.
That's what I was doing.
Okay. Was this
really
a
bad.
Porsche? I didn't say it. Was this?
We have a problem.
Okay. Was this a poor showing in Corvallis? Was this the real Houston finally leaving the city of Houston? That's double up there. I'm just going to keep saying Houston.
H-Town.
Or was this, what's their area code? Am I blanking on it? Whatever. Was this something maybe somewhere in the middle of that? I'm trying to think of every Paul Wall song I know.
214, that's Dallas. 214.
People watching this are losing their mind.
What's Mike Jones' area code?
713. There's 832. There's 281.
281.
346. You were thinking
281.
Yeah. So what did this close win, comeback win, in Corvallis say about Houston?
It takes a really well coached team to go down like that on the road in a trap game and recover and win. I think that's what it says about Houston. I still think Houston has a good defense. I think they have some problems. I think their secondary might be the best in the Big 12 as a whole, as a unit, top to bottom, and they're deep.
Mm-hmm.
Their defensive line linebackers, I think, are Big 12 average, probably, with some good players mixed into some not as elite players. So that, as a unit, they're good. As a unit, they're really good. But I do think it's probably a little bit in the middle. I mean, Connor Wegman was really pushed, rushed for the first time consistently there in the first half, and he looked completely lost.
Like a virgin.
Like a virgin.
Touched for the very first time.
Now, they are not good, as I said at the top of the show, in pass pro. Their offensive lineman, only one of them is credited with a sack, and that's their left tackle. He's credited with 2.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's maybe Dalton Merriman's credited with 2. Their left tackle is not credited with a sack, but he's got a 44 pass rushing grade.
Yeah.
On pass blocking grade on PFF, and he's given up like 12 pressures and 6 hurries and 2 or 3 quarterback hits, which all lead the team. So even though they're not credited with sacks, Connor Wegman on dropbacks has been sacked at a rate that's like 115th in the country. They're really bad at protecting Connor Wegman. Their running backs on PFF have grades of 29, 11, and 10 in pass blocking. They're not asked to do it very often, but I think it's because they're not good at it. So I think that's a really, really bad matchup for Houston going into this game, but I don't know that it's been exposed to the level that Texas Tech can expose it. So yes, I think Oregon State showed us a little bit of what Houston really is. Mm-hmm. I think Houston also, to even win that game, how they started it, was really impressive to me. Houston would have folded last year. Mm-hmm. They would not have come back on offense. Zeon Chris could not have done what Connor Wegman did in the second half. That being said, a little bit of everything that you just said. I think Houston really impressed me by winning. Houston really was unimpressive in getting down. And so probably if I'm landing on one of those as an option, as a main option, I'd probably say they just kind of somewhere in the middle. Mm-hmm. We kind of just saw what Houston is.
I think, if I'm looking at this week and I'm in the room sitting along
where it happened
with
in the room where it happened. Hamilton fans will get it.
Oh, yes, I've never.
Us Hamilton heads.
I've heard the soundtrack.
Uh-huh. It's in there.
But it obviously hasn't stuck with me, and I haven't actually watched it.
Okay.
Sometimes in my head, I just go, Alexander Hamilton. No, that's what did stick with me.
My name is Alexander Hamilton.
If I am in the room, however you just sang it, with David Bailey and Romello Height, and really anybody on the front, and they're going through film and they're talking about this is what we want to do, this is what we're expecting to do, I would assume it's just going to be smiles. Because if I'm looking at Connor Wigman, if you know you're up against a pass rush that's going to be really good and really hard to stop, and you also know it's not a strength, but what do you want to do? You want to establish the run. Okay, well, if you're going up against a dominant run defense and you can't do that, and assuming the offense is going to score points, eventually you're going to have to really commit to throwing the ball. And you're looking at Wegman, who's been hit on 44% of his dropbacks. That is insane, that you are nearing 50 every time you drop back, that you're in the back of your mind going, am I going to get hit? And this is against, who the best statistical defense they've played so far? Just statistical. It's Rice. The Rice Owls. So I would like to think
they held them off the board really in the first half.
Yeah, I would like to think that you're a pretty nice step up from the Rice Owls defense, Rob.
Yeah, Stephen F. Austin, Rice, Oregon State, Colorado's defense is not as good this year.
And so that's where I think we have been seeing some of the bad things from Houston all year long, and they just all popped up against Oregon State. But I'm with you because they're good enough and they're dynamic enough to come back from something like that against an Oregon State team that just has all sorts of woes. We know about that. We saw them here. And so I do think it's enough to confirm to me that, yes, Houston is much improved, but also for anybody that was ready to start saying, hey, they're a top 5 team, you start backing off that a little bit. And I'm really curious to see what their Big 12 record ends up being, because you look, and they're at Oklahoma State, winnable game, right? They're at home against Arizona. I think that's a winnable game. They're two teams that I'm curious that they might be like the best of the mid in the Big 12, kind of battling out for that. And then at Arizona State. But then they're also going to have West Virginia and at UCF. I think those 4 games are going to define if they're a 6-win team, if they're an 8-win team, something like that. Because, I don't know, at home against TCU and then at Baylor, I think both of those games for this Houston team are going to be hard to win. I think they'll be in those games from their defense. I'm just not sure if the offense is good enough. And so when I look at what they did in Corvallis, I'm with you. I'm right down the middle. I think they got caught off guard by Oregon State. I think that they really believed that they were going to roll into Corvallis, and they're looking at an 0-4 team, a team that the Power Fours were just blowing out, and they thought they were going to do the same. And it was not sharp, and they had to make every single play they did on those final couple of drives and then in overtime to win that game. And again, credit them because they did. But also, if you put yourself in that situation, that's enough for me to go, yeah, that's the Houston I thought was going to be there this year. It's also a Houston where Shiel Wood just came from. Is this just another game for him?
Yes. If Shiel Wood had been, I think it's more like potentially that he's playing against Willie Fritz.
Yeah.
But Shiel Wood is a bit of a mercenary, right? Since he's come back into coaching, he was in coaching, he took a step away, comes back into coaching. and it's Army, Troy, Tulane, Houston. He was at Houston one season.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he wasn't at Houston for 20 years. He wasn't at Houston for 10 years. It might be more important that Juice Johnson and Kenny Perry have good games against Houston. That's their alma mater.
Yeah.
So, like, is it more important for Dalton Merriman to have a good game against this defense after being overlooked and thrown aside by Texas Tech?
Mm-hmm.
Is it more important for Anthony Holmes to have a good game against Houston as he came over from Houston and spent more than one season at Houston? Like, I think there's more storylines than Shiel Wood facing his old team. Like, he didn't know any of those guys. Connor Wakeman wasn't there. Was that offense? Was that offense really at all?
Who's the most that he's even, like Carlos Allen? Is that who he's the most attached to over there? And even then?
I guess, yeah.
I
totally
agree.
He knows some of the players.
Yes.
But, like,
you know
what I mean? I think they have a new offensive coordinator.
Yep.
They have a new defensive coordinator, obviously. And so, like, yeah, I think there's probably some mutual respect with Willie Fritz. He followed him from Tulane to Houston, but no, this is. I thought that was overblown in the press conference, and
trying to get an emotional response.
Right? Yeah, I really don't think it matters at all.
Totally with you.
Yeah.
I looked at even
Joey brought it up in the press conference.
Yeah, this is the way that I was looking at it, though, just from how he seems to carry himself.
Yeah.
Even if he had been with Fritz way longer, right, like with him the whole ride at Tulane, or maybe even the stop before, even if that was the case, or even if it was the case that he had been at Houston for 8 years, a decade, and Fritz adopted him, said, "You're doing a good job, and we keep you there.
Proud of you, son."
Proud of you, son. I think the way that he carries himself and the way that he coaches this defense, I don't think he would allow it to become that.
Right.
I really do think that is his personality. And so, I don't get me wrong. I understand why it is, a note on the game notes or whatever for the media and stuff like that and fans, because on paper it is he was there last year. He's going back to play against him. There's always going to be a story there if it's a player, coach, whatever. But I'm with you. I don't think he was there long enough to be, I'm sure, appreciative of the stop. Don't get me wrong, but just to be like, I'm a Cougar for life. This was a hard decision, like anything like that.
Right.
And if he did lean one way, maybe it was more to Fritz just because he was with him a couple of years and it was more Fritz than it was Houston. But still, I don't think he will let that be a thing, and I'm expecting a very dominant showing this week for the defense.
Agreed. All right, you ready for some predictions?
I'm so ready for some predictions.
I submitted my prediction, and you'll see it on WTSportsNetwork.com whenever Jamie publishes those. I disagree with my prediction. I'm changing it. I'm going to say 38-3.
38-3.
I don't think they're going to score. I don't think they're going to score. They give up sacks on 9% of their dropbacks. If they drop back 100 times, you're getting 9 sacks. And that's with pass rushes that aren't necessarily dynamic. You could in 25 dropbacks, 40 dropbacks, whatever it is, get 6 sacks this weekend. And I expect that to happen. And if you're not sacking him, you're forcing interceptions, because Connor Wegman is a very generous man when pressured.
Mm-hmm.
It just, you're going to win the takeover battle. Now, they've been, keyword been, better turnover margin wise. They give it, you're about the same in turnover margin, but they give it away less so far and have taken away less. I think you will have a wide turnover margin win, and you're going to be able to run the ball. They're not going to be able to run the ball. Once you take a lead, they're not going to be able to catch up like they caught up against Oregon State, because Mac Leftwich is a stone-cold psychopath competitive. Like he wants to score every drive. Not every offensive coordinator is built like Mac Leftwich. Mac Leftwich he wants to score on you, and he wants to see you cry. He does. Did you read the Texas Dave Campbell's post from Mike Craven?
I did not.
I encourage everyone to go read that post. It's about how competitive he is, and he wants to break you. It's incredible.
That's awesome.
It's incredible.
That's awesome.
Every new thing I learn about, and he's not that way with the media.
Yeah.
He's not that way just normally, it doesn't seem like. But in competitive setting, like if you and I were like, hey, Mac, would you like to play NCAA 26? And we started playing a video game with him, he would turn into a monster and try to murder you.
That's an open challenge for you, Mac. 1-on-1 versus
and
one.
So I think
I
think you're gonna get a lead.
Yeah.
And the defense can help you keep a lead.
Huh.
And we saw when Utah scored their touchdown last week, the defense took it personally.
Yes.
And came out like it was the first play of the game that next drive and forced a 3-and-out.
It was really like you were just like you started the game, like you were rejuvenated. And I also love that mentality, and that was very promising moving forward.
At some point this season, Texas Tech will be tested. At some point this season, you're going to have a half, a quarter, a drive where you're flat. I don't think it'll be this week. 38-3.
Okay, so I've got a big score as well. The one thing I differ from you, I had to hold myself down offensively. I tried to play it a little safe, and me playing it safe bumped them all the way to 45 points. I think you missed some opportunities against a better defense in Utah. And honestly, I think Houston has I've been saying, just have caught myself saying a lot of things about Houston that I did against Utah, but just at a not as good version. Now, it's not one for one schematically by any means, offensively or defensively, but the ways that they want to win, where they want to win through a physical defense that's not giving you anything, where they do want to run the ball. They have a quarterback that is dynamic and can use his legs, and they're not afraid to run them, anything like that. He's not afraid to take off if something's not there and show his athletic ability. It's a lot of similar stuff, but just not as high of a pace as the way that or as talented as the way that I viewed Utah. Again, schematically, not copy and paste by any means, but just the mindset is very similar. And so when I look at the opportunities that you left on the board against Utah's defense, I also think you're going to get a very focused Behren Morton. I'm hoping, yes, he got injured, but I also think that maybe he pressed a little bit too much. Like he let the weight of how important that game was at Utah maybe get to him just a little bit. I think that'll be different against Houston. I think the offense is going to be humming. I think you're going to jump out to a big lead early. And if I'm being honest, I think that this game has a chance to see some second-string guys. I've got this 45-17, and the only reason I have Houston that high, I think the max, if you went like minus max sort of thing, I'm with you. You could hold them to 3 points. I think that if things went awry in some way, they could score 20, or if they did get a defensive touchdown, special teams touchdown, something like that. I don't think it's crazy by any means to say that they're not good enough to score 20 points. So I'm going to hedge just a little bit under that and go 45-17, but I also think that those points are coming late. I think you are going to really put it on Houston.
I love it.
Yeah.
So 38-3?
45-17.
Let's bring it on.
Let's go to the entire Big 12. And
is this the whip around?
Welcome to the Big 12 whip around. I put more of a P in mine, like whoosh, like that. Do yours? Whoosh, 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 whoosh. How did you do? Whoosh, whoosh. Yours, if you're spelling, is more like a KTCH.
Maybe a Q in there.
Maybe a Q in there. Yeah. Either way. Comment below who's got the better whip noise for the Big 12 whip around. Whoosh.
In concert, that was good.
Yeah. Uh-huh. This week, in my opinion, and in Vegas's opinion, you are primed for some blowouts. It is so weird because I do think the Big 12 is still uber competitive, but last year it was just every game was close, and you already had some blowouts last weekend.
Yeah.
This weekend it feels like a perfect storm, and I think you'll have some other weekends like this, but I'm going to run through these lines.
Yeah.
You're a 10.5 point.
I'm going to instant reaction tell you who's going to win.
Okay. 10.5 point favorite right now, Texas Tech over Houston.
Tech covers.
Kansas is a 4.5 point road favorite over UCF.
Kansas covers.
That's one of the smaller
high scoring
lines.
game.
Cincinnati, 1.5 favorite over Iowa State.
Iowa State road dog win.
There is maybe your, I think it's your game of the week.
That line stinks.
Baylor, 6.5 point favorite at home against Kansas State.
Kansas State outright.
Arizona, 20.5 point favorite over Oklahoma State. I'm not going to get used to those Oklahoma State lines.
Yeah.
I understand them, but.
I would not touch that. Arizona will win. I don't know by how much.
And then TCU, a 13.5 point favorite over Colorado.
I think that's right on. I think TCU maybe wins by 10, but I think they're motivated.
Oh, I'm sorry. I missed this.
Yeah, it's Friday night.
I knew there was another big line in here. BYU, 18.5 point favorite at home against West Virginia.
I don't know that BYU can score that much. If West Virginia scores 18, 17, 10, is it 29-10? Is that the game? And then they win? What's the total on that? Yeah, 47.5.
I would take BYU.
Yeah.
Over here.
Until we see A, West Virginia do it on the road, and B, West Virginia do it against a Big 12 team.
West Virginia score more than 10 points against a Big 12 school.
Yeah.
I look at this, and I think all of the big lines, it's kind of how I view these games, like BYU, U over Houston, obviously Arizona over Oklahoma State, and I think TCU is going to be pretty pissed off coming back home, losing that game over Colorado. But I also don't think it's crazy to say with UCF, as much as we talked about the tackling issues, and yes, they're a running team, they've got some all three quarterbacks are already dinged up at UCF. And I think Kansas is going to put some points on UCF. I don't think it's crazy to think that game could wind up as a double-digit lead. I have no idea what to think about Kansas State right now. I do think they're going to have a hard time stopping Baylor's offense, but I also think Baylor's defense is really bad. If you have the right concoction there, that one could be a blowout. It's like the one game that I think for sure will be close in my mind is Cincinnati hosting Iowa State. And who knows, now that I said that, Cyclones could go in there and roll the Bearcats. Little low battery situation there again. It's really yelling at us. So I think with the struggles that you'll see from Oklahoma State and West Virginia specifically, you're going to see a couple more weekends like this, and Colorado you can put in there as well.
At least 3 of these Big 12 games are going to be 17 or more points.
But the way that these line up where it's like a top-end team like TCU and a bottom-end team like Colorado, and then a top-end team like BYU and a bottom-end team against West Virginia, when you throw those in there with the entire weekend, you could see some monster scores.
I think there's more good teams than bad teams in the Big 12, obviously.
Yeah, agreed.
But the bad teams are really bad right now.
Mm-hmm. All right, you ready for a fan question of the week?
Yes.
All right, this has been asked a lot. So really, this was pulled from a lot of people. But what is the toughest game left on Tech's schedule?
I think based on matchup.
I want you to rank 3, just to add into the conversation.
Okay, well, I think the 3 are obvious. Road game, Arizona State's the toughest.
Agreed. That's why I wanted you to do 3.
I think BYU is the second toughest because of that defense. I think that's potentially a matchup issue with Texas Tech. And just everything going on that weekend.
Mm-hmm.
In Lubbock, Mahomes jerseys, Hall of Fame weekend with BJ and Aycock and Duckett. I'm split on the last two.
Is it in the same state?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Part of me wants to just say the road game in Manhattan because you hadn't won there in forever. That's a tough game, period. I don't care if they're 0-for or undefeated. The Kansas offense might be the only offense right now in the Big 12 that I'm looking at and saying, yeah, they could probably score on Texas Tech. Like mobile quarterback kind of extinguishes the rushing attack, the pass rush.
He does everything that Devin Dampier was supposed to do.
Yeah. So I guess I'd lean Kansas, especially playing Kansas. If you're 5-0 and you just hammer both Utah and Houston, and now you're playing at home. It's a Ring of Honor game. It's homecoming. So I'd probably lean Kansas, but those would be like 1-2 easy for me, and then 3A, 3B.
I understand the Manhattan stuff. I understand.
Yeah.
They just look. They've got since they're 5 games away. They have time to show that this wasn't just a fluky weekend against a banged-up UCF squad.
Sure.
And Dylan Edwards can be a difference maker now that he's back on the offense. And more importantly, Matt Wells has learned how to use Avery Johnson. Or Avery Johnson has learned that, I don't know, someone was bringing up the point like he might be playing for the NFL at the start of the season, and that's not the version that's going to win Kansas State games. It's just not.
At what position is Avery Johnson going to play?
Yeah, exactly. And that's the way he's been quarterbacking, right? Like, I'm going to show you that I can make all of these throws. I don't have to use my legs. And that's just not how you're going to win with him. No. And so if whatever gets cleaned up with that, then yes, they can turn into that. I need to see more from them now. I've seen plenty from Kansas's offense. And I've seen a good defensive performance.
Uh-huh.
But there are just things that are turning into an overall season problem where they've just done it well against bad teams as far as tackling. And even then against like Fresno State early on, they didn't tackle that well.
Uh-huh.
Keep doing that. So I'm with you for firm clear-cut 1. I'm with you on clear-cut 2.
You would clear-cut 3.
It's clear-cut 3 for me right now.
Yes.
And again, both teams have times or have a chance to change that opinion.
Yeah.
I just think the way Kansas State has been this season, if you are truly in the different era we keep on talking about, the different type of team, things have changed. That's something that changes too. Is it's just because it's in Manhattan shouldn't be a curse.
Okay, now I want you to ask me that question again, but instead of game, say opponent.
Who are the best 3 opponents?
Just one, the original question.
What is the toughest opponent left on Tech's schedule?
I think the toughest opponent, Clint, and that's a great question, on the Texas Tech schedule is Texas Tech. I think you're going to
again. All right.
You have to overcome yourself every week, and you're going to have to go out there and just do what you do as opposed to worrying about what anyone else is doing.
If you would like to submit a question of the week that we pull every single week here on Red River Recon, you can drop one to Rob Bro's Twitter, to my Twitter, to Double T973's Twitter, or below on the YouTube link here in the comments section. If you're here on YouTube, why not hit subscribe? What's the worst that could happen? You could win some football tickets.
Go ahead and like the video. If you subscribe,
you get a little Jeff Foxworthy there.
BYU tickets. That's going to be a coveted game.
Mm-hmm.
I did it again. This is going to be a coveted game. That was like Jar Jar Binks a little bit.
Misa
thinks that's a coveted game. Misa thinks a BYU.
Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next Wednesday.